Hello, I'm McKibbin. Welcome to Bedtime Stories. Thank you for enjoying my previous bedtime story video. I think it's been a while or a long time since I last read bedtime stories to all of you. So today I'm back with another bedtime story video, and I'm going to read to you more stories of Thomas the Tank Engine. And our first one is Percy's New Friends. It was a very busy day on Sodor. All the engines were huffing and puffing as they worked, all except for Percy. Percy wasn't busy. He wanted to play, but all the other engines were too busy to play with Percy. Percy puffed sadly to Brenham Docks. At the docks, a noisy bird was squawking loudly as it sat on Cranky's arm. "Hello, Percy," said Cranky. "This is my friend Seagull." An idea flew into Percy's funnel. "I can make friends with animals too," Percy thought, and he clattered away to make some new friends. The noise scared Seagull. Away he flew. "Not so loud, Percy," Cranky warned, but Percy didn't hear. Percy puffed into the woods. There he saw a rabbit. With a wheesh and a whoosh and a hoot and a toot, Percy rushed to make friends. But the rabbit was frightened. It turned tail and raced away into the bushes. Farther down the track, Percy saw some squirrels. With a wheesh and a whoosh and a hoot and a toot, Percy rushed to make friends. But the startled squirrels scurried away up a tree with their bushy tails waving. Percy chuffed on through the woods until he saw a bird. Again he rushed to make friends, but the bird squawked loudly and flew off. Percy was puzzled. Why didn't any of the animals want to be his friend? I'm not so sure about that. Suddenly, Percy heard the roar of an engine and the loud weep of a warning whistle. "Bust my buffers!" cried Percy. He was frightened through and through. It was Gordon pulling the express. Percy shook from funnel to footplate as Gordon thundered past. Thomas happened to be nearby and saw what had happened. "Are you okay?" he asked Percy. "I was scared," Percy said. "Gordon is big and I'm only a little engine." Then suddenly an idea bubbled up in Percy's boiler. Percy set off back through the woods. This time he puffed slowly and carefully. Soon he saw the little bird. "Hello," said Percy quietly. "Cheep, cheep," the bird replied, and he flew onto Percy's buffer. Percy puffed on, carefully and calmly. Next he saw the squirrels. "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Squirrel," he said softly. "I didn't mean to scare you before." The squirrels leaped onto Percy's buffer too. Finally, Percy saw the rabbit again. "I'm sorry for being too loud before," he said to the bunny. The rabbit twitched its nose and hopped up next to the squirrels. Percy puffed proudly on, and with all of his new friends. He was the happiest engine on Sodor. Don't bother Victor. One day, up in the hills on the island of Sodor, Thomas saw Peter, Sam, and Mr. Percival. "I'm off to meet Sir Topham Hatt today," said Mr. Percival. "So I'm putting you in charge for the day, Peter Sam." Peter Sam gasped. "Me, sir?" he said. "I'll take good care of things." He can be sure of that. Mr. Percival told Peter Sam that Victor would be coming by later that day. Victor was in charge of repairs at the steamworks, and he was a very important engine. "Don't go bothering him before then with the little things," said Mr. Percival. "Good luck, Peter Sam," Thomas said as he started to chug away. "Being in charge is fun. You get to make all the decisions." Thomas took Mr. Percival to meet Sir Topham Hatt. Peter Sam was now in charge. Just then, Rheneas chopped along. "Sir Handel is creaking and groaning at Daisy Halt," he said to Peter Sam. "You must fetch Victor to mend him." Peter Sam looked serious. "No, Rheneas," he said firmly. "We must not bother Victor with the little things. I will fix Sir Handel myself." When Peter Sam arrived at Daisy Halt, Sir Handel was indeed creaking and groaning. "Please fetch Victor," he said to Peter Sam. "I'm sure I can fix you," said Peter Sam. "I think you just need more oil." So Sir Handel's driver added more oil, but Sir Handel creaked more than ever. Just then Rheneas came along. "Now Skarloey's funnel is broken," he reported. "Peter Sam, you must fetch Victor." "We must not bother Victor," Peter Sam replied. "I will chuff over to Skarloey and fix him myself." And off he puffed, leaving Sir Handel behind. Skarloey was wheezing with worry. "My funnel's blocked," he said. "Please fetch Victor." "Don't worry, Skarloey. I'm sure I can fix you," said Peter Sam. He thought hard. "We need to put some wire down your funnel." "Oh." So Skarloey's driver put wire down his funnel, but that only made things worse. "All that wire has put my firebox out," Skarloey cried. Peter Sam was upset. He realized that he hadn't done a very good job of being in charge. He puffed along sadly until he came to a stop himself. "Oh no," he groaned. "Now I've run out of coal." Luckily, Rheneas came by and found Peter Sam. "I've run out of coal," Peter Sam told him. "Please fetch Victor." Rheneas chuckled. "But you said we shouldn't bother Victor." Then Peter Sam remembered what Thomas had told him. "When you're in charge, you get to make all the decisions." Peter Sam said out loud, "Rheneas, I've decided we can bother Victor." Victor managed to fix all the broken engines. "Why didn't you come and get me earlier?" he asked. "Mr. Percival said not to bother you," Peter Sam told him. "I don't mind," said Victor. "It's my job to fix really useful engines." Later that day, Thomas brought Mr. Percival back to the hills. "How was your day in charge, Peter Sam?" he asked. No bother at all, Peter Sam replied. Don't you agree, Victor? I do indeed, Victor answered. It was no bother at all. On Misty Island. One day, Thomas and Edward were given a very special job. They were to bring Joby wood from Misty Island back to Sodor. You'll need our help, Bash and Dash told Thomas. The log loaders can be very naughty. We're used to working with them. That's right, Fernandez added. But Thomas had been to Misty Island before, and he thought he knew all about it. He didn't need any help. When Thomas and Edward got to Misty Island, Thomas showed Edward around, and then led the way to the Shake Shake Bridge. The logging station was just on the other side. As the two engines crossed the bridge, it wibbled and wobbled under their wheels. Edward was scared. He stopped halfway across and refused to budge another inch. Don't worry, Edward, Thomas said. I'll fetch the logs. Then we can take them right back to Sodor. At the logging station, old Wheezy, the naughty log loader, picked up some Joby logs. But instead of putting them onto Thomas's truck, he whirled around and hurled them up into the air. The logs flew everywhere. Blistering boilers! Cried Edward as the logs flew towards him. They bounced off his cab and made the Shake Shake Bridge shake even more. Edward was more scared than ever. As old Wheezy was throwing around another batch of logs, Bash, Dash, and Fernandez puffed in. It looks like you need our help now, Bash and Dash said. That's right, said Fernandez, but Thomas still thought he did need any help, so the other engines rolled away again. Thomas jumped over the hee-haw, the other log loader, but hee-haw was feeling too sick to work. Just then, James arrived with Sir Topham Hatt. Hee-haw wheezed and wheezed and coughed black smoke all over them. Thomas, Sir Topham Hatt boomed crossly, logs are flying everywhere. Edward won't move, and you are late with your delivery. Thomas felt terrible. I'm sorry, sir, he peeped. I thought I didn't need help here, but I was wrong. Now I'll make things right. Thomas went to find Bash, Dash, and Fernandez. I can't do this alone after all, he puffed. I need your help. Do as we say, and we'll show you the way, chopped Bash and Dash together. That's right, said Fernandez, as he usually did. Together the engines steamed back to the logging station. First the three locomotives pushed Edward across the Shake Shake Bridge. Next they oiled Hee-Haw's joints to make him feel better. Then they gathered up the logs that old Weezy had thrown into the air. Soon all the trucks were piled high with Joby wood. When the 5 engines returned to Sodor with the wood, Sir Topham Hatt was very pleased. You are really useful engines, he told them. We make a great team, whistled Bash and Dash. That's right, Fernandez, Thomas, and Edward peeped all together.
Well, what'd you think of that? Of those stories that I read to you? I think my favorite part is when Peter Sam realized that there's nothing wrong with bothering Victor, who helps fix up steam engines, other than really useful engines, which is totally true. But yeah, at close to the end of that one, Peter Sam realized that it's no bother at all to get Victor's help to fix up the engines that need repair or whatever. Thank you for tuning in to today's bedtime story video. And for what Shelley Duvall said, when you write stories, you can make believe anything. And when you dream, you can make believe anything too. So, I hope you all have sweet dreams and hope to see you next time.